Good morning and welcome. So today we're going to go through my morning routine as I set up my trades ready for the day ahead. Let's see what happens. Here we go. First things we do is we check the news for upcoming red folder events for the day. Now quite often I will be halfway through my charts by the time I realise this and have to go back and double check, but that's okay. Today we've remembered. Okay, today is 10th of June, there's nothing much happening. The pound news has already happened, 7 AM. By the time I come to charts here in the UK, a lot of the GBP news has already happened, so I don't often have to worry about that one. It's generally just the US news, which normally is about 1:30 UK time. As you can see, we've got a 9 PM Trump speaks, so let's see what happens then. First thing I do is I pop over to my 15-minute Asian session break setup, and I'll go through all the pairs here and narrow them down to ones that I want to watch for the current day. So this was yesterday's trade on Euro Aussie. As you can see, I went short. There's not a training video on trading, just my daily routine. So a quick oversight, we had 2-day downtrend. The Asian session coming into London session broke to the low side. I waited for the pullback for a continuation short and took my profits around about these levels here at equal lows from previous levels to the left. In a nutshell, that's it. Let's go through all the pairs and see if there's anything for today. Right, this literally just takes a couple of minutes. It's just a matter of flicking through every pair and seeing if anything's interesting for the day. Anything that I find slightly interesting, it's just a cursory look over at the moment, is I'll tag in yellow here in my watch list. We're not doing anything with those trades yet. Like I said, this only takes a couple of minutes just to flick through first thing in the morning. So there you can see the GBP news at 7 AM, because this is Euro Pound. So obviously the pound weakened and Euro Pound shot up. Again, another sign of the pound news at 7 AM. Weaker pound versus CAD, it's dropped. Remember, these are 15-minute charts. And that's it, we've been through all 20 odd pairs. Didn't take long at all, did it? See? And what did we come up with? Just one potential setup today out of all of those. So we'll then drag this up to here, so we're in the soon section instead of the watching section. So all we have to do now for the rest of the morning is check any of these yellow tagged pairs, in this case just the one. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into that one now. We have a 2-day uptrend. We're coming into the London session, breaking the Asian high. So we're going to look to the left for potential support zones and resistance areas. Places where price might reject from. I'm just going to mark them up with a little blue ray line from these peaks. There we go. So that's it. Dead easy. So now if we're going to break the Asian session high to continue our 2-day uptrend here, and then pull back for an entry, these blue resistance lines where price had turned before now become potential target levels. So we'll mark up the potential trade, just to see if we could get a good trade out of it. Stop loss needs to go below these lows, target up at these previous levels. So we need a minimum 2R, so potentially that could be a potential trade. But we're not doing anything yet, we're just marking them up and having a look. So now we're going to move on to some of the other setups. We'll have a super quick check of our daily swing trade, just to see what's happening there. As you can see, nothing is happening, so we'll move on from that one. Now we're into the futures markets. So on TopStep account, this is the NAS 100 or NQ in futures. As you can see, we're on 15-minute chart again. As you can see, yesterday I was hoping for pullbacks to these levels and continuations. That didn't happen, so the trades were cancelled, or trade ideas were cancelled. So we don't need those anymore. They weren't picked up. We'll just delete those off, clean the chart up. So we need to set the previous day high and low on this particular setup. So we'll flick to daily. Green is previous day high, red previous day low, obviously. You can see from here not much really happened. That was the daily range yesterday. It swept the high at some point after that. So we'll drop back to the 15-minute and have a look now. Yep, so there you can see it swept the previous day high during the night, 2 AM UK time here. So a liquidity sweep, if you like, from there, and potentially dropping back down. All we're going to do is mark up the new and relevant levels here. And that's it. We've marked that account up, looking for any potential trade ideas. As of now, I can't see any. We've had this strong move up, sweep at the previous day high or this zone here, and a strong push down, which makes it a bit hard for me to set any valid trades for me right at the moment, so we'll come back to that one. So now we're over to cTrader to set up the trades on there. This is the UK 100 on the 15-minute chart. Again, it's the same as before. We're just going to mark out the zones, mark up potential trades, and have a look. This was the trade from yesterday, as you can see. We'd marked out these previous zones here. We had duplicate levels down here in case it rejected from the next zones down. It actually picked up the first one and went back up to this level here, and we were out and done for the day. Quite easy. So let's see if we've got anything for today. The levels will probably be the same. We're just going to extend these levels out because they're still existing levels for potential trade ideas. Nothing's changed. It did reject from there, but potentially breaking through now, unless it's a liquidity sweep, but it looks like it's pushing higher. Let's go to the higher time frame, see where this level's from. As you can see, we had a big rejection there. Let's see if we can tighten it up a little bit, because it's quite a big zone for me to allow for. But as you can see, it hasn't been to this level for quite a while. So we'll drop back to the 15-minute now. So yes, it looks like it wants to go to that level. But for us, there's no particular trade setup, really. Let me have a look. No, see, I don't trade break and retests. I mean, perfectly understand that that's a potential trade if we expect it to go back up to there. It's not the trading style I currently do. But that would be a good potential trade, I'd say. Probably have to put your stop below this level here at the very least. I mean, ideally down here, but then your risk to reward gets so low, it becomes less worth it, I think. So what I'd normally do is if I'm expecting it to come up to these levels, I'll trade the pullbacks to these levels, going back up to there, and then we'll duplicate it down to the next two zones. So we've got 3 areas covered, each of them with the same TP level. So that would be the trade idea if I thought it was going to come back down here to pick up to go back up to these levels. Currently, which is typical because I'm recording the screen today, we're not going to get many setups, but yesterday was nicer. Shame I didn't record it then. So we might watch this one and see if it looks like it might do that, in which case we'll set up these 3 potential entries back to these levels. Now, still on cTrader, we're going to swap accounts and then go over to have a look at the euro dollar. Now, the euro dollar and the pound dollar, I trade on the 5-minute charts. Basically same setup, just on lower time frames. We're going to mark out the zones. As you can see, these were potential trade ideas yesterday. It didn't like me yesterday and came down and took out that stop and then took out that stop and then ran in my favor. So it wasn't very nice to me yesterday. But that's okay. That's what trading is. I'm going to mark out these levels here now quickly. Doesn't have to take a long time trading, and nor does it matter what other people think or see. It's what you think and see when you look at the chart that matters. Other people can't trade for you, so just trade what you see, rightly or wrongly. I'm going to pull that level across. As you can see, it's already hit this level. So again, no setups for me today. But as you can see, if we were looking here at this down point here and we were expecting a pullback to one of these zones to then carry on down to this level, say, then we could have marked up potential shorts from these zones here. So we would have had, because we would have only seen this part at the time, we were expecting to pull back, we could have said, oh, it might pull back to there. And then we duplicate that and say, oh, but if it breaks that one, it might pull back to the next level. And then continue down. Stop above there, stop around about there, maybe stop around about there. So we'd have a 3-hour trade followed by a 6-hour trade, which obviously covers the loss of the 3-hour trade if it breaks through It turns at this point to come back down. Obviously that's hindsight trading, and it was during the night, so that's an example. So if we were here on these ones, we might have put a short here, and then we would have put another trade idea there, the same TP here, and then a third one there, and that would have been a lot better setup. And as you can see on this particular one, if we were looking at this point here, it would have picked up on the first one, but if it didn't, it came to this next zone, we're covered, and then the next zone, and then we're out, we're done for the day. Let's delete those because we're not in those. So that's EU setup, nothing really happening there. We can try and look at the bigger picture, see which way we think it's going to go. We have another zone or level down here, which might be a target if we think it's going short. But if I think the bigger picture is short, let's have a look. Then I would like pullbacks to some of these levels first for me to continue short, maybe down to this zone now. So again, nothing for me to trade this morning on that one. Now we're going to flick over to the pound dollar, which with the news from the pound this morning is going to make this trade basically untradeable, but we will mark it up anyway and have a look. So we've changed accounts up here now, and we've swapped over to the pound dollar. Going to mark up some levels. Don't worry about being too precise on these levels. You can neaten them up afterwards. Just get something drawn on and see where you go from there. Let's go to the slightly higher time frame because we broke through there. Yeah, looking at the higher time frame, we had this level here, it's gone straight through. And then we got this zone here, it's just entering now. Then after that, we've got this huge zone down here, which I don't like, it's too fat. Let's drop back to the 5 minutes. So when there's news spikes like that or news events, it makes it quite hard for me to trade because you got too much momentum. We want it sort of coming down and pulling back for entries. There's no pullback entries there. So again, no trade setups on GU today. Then we pop over to Trade Locker. Yes, I do have another account that I need to set up in the mornings. This was yesterday's trade ideas. We had this potential rejection here. Again, this is the pound dollar, but on the 15-minute this time. We had a potential trade there, and there was one lower down here. First trade went straight through. Second trade was picked up and went up to profits to these equal highs here and was closed out 1.62R, which covered the loss of 1R from that one. So we made profit on this account yesterday. See what we can mark up in my lovely purples. As you can see, I'm just sort of drawing these zones or levels or areas of interest or points of interest, whatever you want to call them, on roughly. That's no longer valid because it's gone straight through. That's gone straight through, but potential. We do have this newer level now where it rejected from yesterday. Previous levels here. Previous levels there. So again, no real setups of interest for today. Let's say if it hadn't done this and we were expecting the continuation short, once we looked at the overall picture here, we might enter pullback trades to these levels and then potentially target these zones down here. So with all that done, all we do now, we just flick back to the USD CAD on the 15-minute that we marked up a potential trade idea on. Just see how that's happening because it's been 15 minutes now. As you can see, it's continuing to push up. So if we get a pullback here, then we may well enter a long trade there. So that's all we're going to watch. And there was unfortunately no setups on the other accounts today. Not yet. So maybe we'll have better luck next time. That's it. Just a quick overview of what I do each morning. Doesn't take long. What's it taken us? 20 minutes. Yeah. And we've been through and set everything up for the day. Now we can move on to other tasks. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.